Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that. Yeah, let me start record.
And please paste the notes of this chat box.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So that part we was discussed yesterday class, and today class. Let's see why our script got failed. Right? What is the reason for that? Okay. Now, generally, if any request it got failed, so there might be two issues, I can say. One is it may be application failure, or it may be we are not getting proper response from the server, which means our request not sending a right data. Our request not sending a right data to the server, so that is the reason we are getting a invalid response from the server, right? So we have to find out what is the invalid data we are sending to the server in the script. Okay, the first part. So first we have to verify each request. Whatever request we are sending to the server, those requests have any item data. In item data, is there any input data we have given during the script recording? Say during the script recording means, let's take username and password. During the script recording, we have given the username and password as input field, right? That way. And also, if you take another one is, we used to fill all the data, right? Flight details like arrival city, departure city, arrival date, departure date, number of passengers, seat preference. So that is our, we are giving that data called as input data, correct? And giving the credit card data, I can say credit card info and credit card expiry date. That information we have given the input data during the script recording, correct? Now, apart from input data, is there any data it captured in the script? So most of the data, it will be captured through value only. I can say it means not captured through means the value will be placed in the, I can say the new values will be placed in the value equal to. Okay. Now, so for me, it's easy to identify which values are new values apart from user input data. But for you, it's difficult, right, to find out which value is new value apart from input data. Am I correct? Yes. So for that, what we can do is we can record the same business scenario. We can record the same business scenario, and we can compare the previous script and current script and see, is there any data is changing from one script to another script. Is there any data is changing from one script to another script by comparing the two scripts with the same steps? We have to record the same steps, not the different steps. Okay? You got it? Are any confusion, guys? So in order to find out the new values, we don't know what are the new values captured in the request. So for that, what we have to do, we have to record another script and do the comparison of current script as well as previous script. So that while doing the comparison, we come to know, right, is there any values are changed. So if during the comparison, if values are changed, it shows in the yellow color. It shows in the yellow color. Okay, now let me record the same workflow with different script. Now go to file, new script and solution. Now select again web protocol. Now so I can say flight booking. I'm just giving a small normal name. Okay, click on create. Now just click on start recording once again. Now select view user init and browser, web browser, and application. I can see Internet Explorer and URL. Place this URL and check the recording options once and go to the recording. Select HTML based. A script contains explicit URLs only. Record within the current script step. Click on OK. Now go to script and see. Now go to protocol, code generation. Okay, correlation scan is fine. Okay, rule scan automatically correlate values found. Record scan, replace scan. That's fine. HTTP advanced. Generate page find function for page title. Support char set. Mapping and filtering. Socket level data. Okay. Alright. Now click on OK. Now I am going to record the application once again. So let me close all this data. Now click on start recording. Okay. Now give the Jojo and B as the username. Now click on login. Okay. Now close this. Now select action. Now click on flights. Okay. Now I guess okay. Now let me select Los Angeles detail. First, that's okay. Window, business, click on continue. Now select any one flight, click on continue. Now give the credit card number. Now click on continue. Now select view user end. Now click on sign off. Right? Now close the browser. Now stop recording. Okay? Now just close this report. This is not required. Now go to view user init. Now just cross check. Okay. Next action. Okay. All are recorded. Correct? Now, alright. No problems. Now successfully recorded. Now can we compare the script now? Okay. Now let's compare. Now you can use online compare, or there is an option called tools compare, select file to compare. select file to compare. Now let's take vUser init. Now go to tools, compare, select file to compare. Now we have to select the previous script recording data which is available in the vUser init. What happened? Okay, let me use compare. Now go to D drive, scripts. Now TC01. Now what I have to select? vUser init, right? So vUser init, click on open. Alright, now maximize. Now let's see. Okay, now so this is same and this is same, correct? Any differentiation is there? No, right? And here extra race is there. Here there is no extra race. That is fine. Now here website socket option is there. Here it's not there. That is fine. Now let's see here. So here WebRich find WebTours is there. WebRich find WebTours is there. Here think time is there. That is fine. Now here web submit data login.pl, web submit data login.pl. So this is the same request we are comparing. Okay, target frame, that is fine. Now let's see the differentiation. Okay, now if you see here Jojo, here Jojo is there, Bean, here Bean is there. But if you see here this value, what is this value it's showing? Is there any difference in the value? Guys?
Yes.
What is the difference? Here it's showing 130352, there 130335. Here dot, here it's showing 822843256. Here it's showing 845200486. Then followed by here, then remaining value we can check. Here if you see, so here also difference is there, correct?
That is dynamic values is passing to the WhatsApp.
Exactly. So now, so did we given this as a input data in the script? So in the in the login part, what is the input data we have given? We given only Jojo and Bean. Did we given this data 130352, the data? No, right?
No.
So which means those values are called dynamic values. Who will generate those dynamic values? Means the server will generate those dynamic values. Now if you see, each and every time if I record 10 times, my 10 times the value is changing, correct? If I record next time, this value will be different.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now come to our script. Whenever I replay my script, each and every time it is passing the same data.
So different.
Even though I can say server is generating different value, but we are sending the same data to the server, correct? If I run my script 10 times, I have to send the same data, correct? But server is generating different data for each and every time when this request is submitted, which is not match of the dynamic value. Our request is sending a constant value, but server is generating each and every time new value. Then how we can pass this dynamic value. I can say each and every time how we can pass dynamically of that value. So that concept called correlation. That concept called correlation. So now what do you mean by correlation is? Correlation is nothing but to handle the dynamic values which are generated by the server called dynamic values. Okay. Now let's compare the action part. As of now we compared user init part only, right? Now let's see action part. Let me close this. Now let's go to the action. Now tools, compare, external file. Now action. Click on open. So this snapshot, that you forgot about this snapshot, that it does not matter. Now we have to see most of the times on the item data. Is there any value is changing or not? Now come down. Now let's see. What happened? Now in the first script I selected departure city is London. Second I selected as Portland. And return date, departure date, I selected different date. This is we are giving the input data, that is fine. Correct? This we are giving input data, right? No problems. Now let's come down and see the next request. So what is the value is changing here? So here if you see 371, 225, 12, 13, 2020. But here 252, 761, 12, 29, 2020. Is this value we have given manually during the script recording? Or this value or this value? Everyone? Did we given manually that value? No, right?
Flight information, right?
Select the flight.
Yeah.
Right. So we have not given this data like 371, 225, 1231, 2020, 252, 761, 1229, 2020. Correct? Okay. Now let's see the next request. Here we given given different credit card number. Ultimately that is the input data we have given. I given the different credit card number, that is fine. This is the input data only. Here I given expiry date as 0123, here 0124. That is fine. This is input data only, right? We have given. We entered the credit card number and expiry date.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Yes. But if you see here, so whether this value I have given as a input data?
No.
No. Which means this is generated by this value generated by the server. We have not given the data as a input data of that value. Alright? So like this, if you see the differentiation, the comparison differentiation, what is the value? Here is the different. Okay. Now if you see, here it's showing 371, 225, 1231, 2020. Here it's showing 252, 761, 12, 29, 2020. Correct? Okay, so like this, you can compare your script. I can say record the same business scenario twice and compare your script using the comparison option. Using the comparison option. Okay, now you got it. So what are the values we have to correlate in the script? Right? Now let me close this, and now let me open our original script. So open. Correct. Now our script is failing in the login part. Correct? If you say login.pl failed. Why? Because each and every time we are sending the same data, but server is generating new data for each and every replay. So that is the reason. Let me replay the script. That is the reason it's showing as a invalid data, probably a bad user session message. Now let's see the screenshot. You have reached this page incorrectly, probably a bad user session, which means we are sending the same session value each and every time in the script. If I replay 10 times also, 10 times I have to send the same data, right? Same this data only, right, in the script. Correct? If I run my script 10 times also, 10 times it will send the same data, same value. I can use the session data. But each and every time, each and every replay, it will generate a new session value, which is not synced, I can say not validated. So that is the reason the login request is failing. Now the question is how to handle these values. To handle these values, we have to do the correlation. We have to do the correlation. Now let's go back to our class notes and see the correlation. So to handle the dynamic values, we have to do the correlation. Now let's see the correlation. Correlation is nothing but to handle the dynamic values which are generated by the server called correlation. Correlation is nothing but to handle the dynamic values which are generated by the server called correlation. Now, how to do the correlation? Next question is how to do the correlation. Correlation will be performed in two ways. One is manual correlation and auto correlation. Correlation will be performed two ways. One is manual correlation and second one is auto correlation. So by seeing the name itself, manual and auto. So manual means we have to manually do the correlation of dynamic values. Auto correlation means the tool, it automatically identifies the dynamic value and do the correlation. Okay, so that part we can see in the further class of auto correlation. Now let's see the first concept called manual correlation. Now let's come down, see that manual correlation. So manual tester, I can say, I'm sorry, not manual tester, I'm sorry. Manual correlation. So PT team has to identify the dynamic value manually in the script and do the correlation manually. So to do the correlation of the dynamic value, first we have to identify the dynamic value boundaries. The dynamic value boundaries. Okay. So how to identify dynamic value boundaries? So dynamic value boundaries will be identified again 3 ways. Dynamic value boundary identification will be done 3 ways. What is the first one? Through snapshot. Second one through code generation, and third one is by comparing two scripts using WinDiff option. So the third option we already done. We compared, right? We compared two scripts, right? With the same flow. The third option called compare. By comparing two scripts using WinDiff option, but here with the latest version there is no name concept of WinDiff option. That's called as comparison. Just go to tools, do the comparison. Okay, compare to external file. All right, now let's go back to the notes and let's see the first one. How to identify dynamic value through snapshot. Identify dynamic value through snapshot. Now, let's go back to our script. Now, first, how to identify the dynamic value through snapshot. Now, where I can find out the snapshot name? So, the snapshot will be available in the view. You can see the name called snapshot. Correct? Can you able to see the name called snapshot? Everyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Now select the snapshot. Now the snapshot contains record response body as well as replay response body. What do you mean that? Means whenever I record my steps, those steps record response body will be there, and when I replay my script, replay response body also there. Okay, now where I can identify this dynamic value boundaries means this dynamic value boundaries will be identified in which body? In the recording response body. Why? Because this value captured during the script recording only, right? Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes. Now copy this value. Now go to the first request. Search from first request onwards. Now Control F. Now paste that value. Okay. And second one is scope, where I have to search that dynamic value in the current action or current script or entire solution. Now I am selecting current script. Now where I have to search my dynamic value means in the snapshot, not the code editor. We are finding the dynamic value boundaries in the snapshot only, right? If you go to the identify the dynamic value boundaries through snapshot. Correct? Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So now let's go back to the script. Now we have to select the snapshot and options. Now, so here in the options, if you see match case, match whole word, set jump, that is not required. Now just go here. Now just I'm clicking the first request onwards. I'm searching where this dynamic value boundaries are appearing on which request. Now find next. Find next. Where it appeared. If you see in the right hand side response, can you able to see the response highlighted value?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, which means the first request contains this dynamic value boundaries. The first request contains dynamic value boundaries. Now click on find next. Now if you see this, so it is available in this request. So the first request contains this dynamic value boundaries. Okay. But where it appeared, I can say where it is placing, I can say passing that dynamic value in the login request. But the dynamic value boundaries are available in the first request. I can say open the application URL contains this dynamic value boundaries, but passing the value is in login request. The dynamic value is passing in the login request. Okay. Boundaries are identifying in the launch URL request, but the dynamic value is passing in the login request. Okay. All right. Now let's see. Let's see. Let's see now this boundary. Now copy this entire value. Copy this. Now go to our here. Let me delete here. Now paste this. Correct? Everyone clear? Now let's open the another script. I can say we recorded twice, right? So let's open the second script and see the second script also contains the dynamic value, right? Whether the dynamic value boundary also same or different, we'll see. Okay. All right. Now let's go to the user init. Now copy this value. Correct? Copy this value. Go to view, select snapshot. Now go to the first request onwards and set here. Now Control F, Control V. Now current script, not code editor, where we have to select. So which option we have to select? Snapshot. correct? Now just move right side. Now click on find next. Now the value is identified in the response. Click on find next. Now you can see the response. Now copy this value with all the data I can see. Now copy this and go to, go to here. Now paste this. Now if you see, the dynamic value is different, but the boundaries are same. Boundaries are nothing but left hand side value called as left boundary, right side value called as right boundary. Correct? Everyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now let's go back to our original script. Let me close this script. Now go back here. Now where it appeared in the first request, right? So this is my first request. Above this request, now I am placing, I'm placing this copied boundary value. Copy this. Now go to the script and paste here. Okay. Now we have to comment this value. Comment means two forward slashes. Two forward slashes called single line comment. Single line comment. If you see, if I give here two forward slashes, it commented. Correct? It changed into different color. So like that, if you don't want to run that request, you can comment that. But what about if I want to comment multiple lines of code means, so forward slash star and give end of the request, give star forward slash. Then it will comment multiple lines. Am I correct? So like this, you can comment single lines or multiple lines. So single line for give the two forward slashes to comment the single line. If you want to comment multiple lines, forward slash star, start up the request. I can start up the line, and in end of the line, star forward slash. Okay? Are you clear? Are any confusion? Till so far? Okay. Now next step is, so now I have identified my dynamic value boundary. Then now I have to write the correlation function to handle this dynamic value. To handle the dynamic value, we have to do the correlation. In order to do the correlation, I have to write correlation function. I have to write correlation function. Okay, sorry guys. So I have to write the correlation function. To handle this dynamic value, now I have to write the correlation function called, so web underscore ridge underscore save underscore param. Web underscore ridge underscore save underscore param of means open bracket, now inverted comma. Now we have to give the parameter. Name is the first attribute. So C underscore user session is the name I have defined. You can define any name. You can define ABC, you can define XYZ, you can define any name. But the name should be proper naming convention. So C underscore is nothing but correlation represents. Okay. Now I given C underscore user session is the variable. You can define any name, not only C underscore user session. You can define ABC, XYZ also. Okay. That is the first attribute. Now, so just press escape. Now, next attribute called LB is nothing but left boundary. Now, what is the left boundary data of my dynamic value?
Input type is there also.
So, this value can I call my left boundary of my dynamic value? Correct?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now copy this value and paste here. Now here I started inverted comma. Now I have to end the inverted comma. Correct? Now next one. So RB, right boundary. What is my right boundary? Can I
The
say
last-
this is my right
last.
boundary?
Yes.
Yes. Copy this. Now paste here. Now end of the inverted comma. So next attribute called last always capital, close bracket, semicolon. Close bracket, semicolon. Okay. So what is the function? Web underscore, ridge underscore, save underscore, param, called web ridge save param of parameter name, left boundary, right boundary, last. Okay. Now here, now if you see here, let's take here, let's take this data. Let me give some font size, big one, so that everyone can identify. Now here, if you see how many inverted commas are there in the left boundary?
5.
5. Correct?
5.
Yes, correct. So load runner does not understand this inverted commas. Load runner does not understand this inverted commas. So we have to do, I can say we have to ignore these inverted commas. So just 2 minutes, guys. I will be back. Okay. So we are discussing in that. So load runner does not understand this inverted commas. Load runner does not understand those inverted commas. Now how many inverted commas are there? 5. In the left boundary, 5 inverted commas are there, right? Now we have to ignore those 5 inverted commas by giving backslash. By giving backslash. So what is the backslash? So now, so here before start of the inverted comma, we have to give backslash. Now before end of the inverted comma, we have to give backslash. Now here again, before start of the inverted comma, give backslash. Here also before end of this. Now before here start, but is there any end for left boundary? No, right? Correct? Now let's go back to our script. Now, so here, so before start of the inverted comma, give the backslash, and before end. Now before start, and before end, and before start. Here one more inverted comma is there, right? And this inverted comma is belongs to the left boundary. I can say LB inverted comma. Correct? Everyone can agree?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now let's go back to here. Now what is the right boundary? Right boundary is there, right? So in right boundary also here one inverted comma is there. Correct? So can I ignore? So we have to ignore this inverted comma as well, right? By giving the backslash. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes. Now let's go back here. Now here one more inverted comma is there. Now give the backslash. Now this inverted comma belongs to this one. Correct? Now if you see, if you perfectly place the correlation function, your script parsing status shows succeeded. In the down, if you see parsing succeeded, script parsing succeeded. But if you see, let's take, now I am just removing this, I just escaped. So I have not ignored that inverted comma. If you see, what is the error we are getting?
Script parsing failed.
Failed means, so still some values are missed to ignore that. Correct? So that is the reason, if you properly placed correlation function with attributes properly, then you can see your script parsing succeeded message. Which means now your correlation function of attributes, parameter name, left boundary and right boundary last is properly matched. I can say properly set. And okay. Now what we have to do is, now we have to replace this dynamic value with the parameter name. Okay, why means, based on the left and right boundary, it captures the dynamic value and store that dynamic value into a variable called C_user session. So that is the reason we defined a variable name called C_user session. Based on whatever left boundary we have defined in my correlation function as well as right boundary, based on that it captures the dynamic value. Now did I place the proper left and right boundary to capture my dynamic value? Right? Everyone?
Yes.
Yes. Now what we have to do? Now we have to replace this parameter name wherever the dynamic value is available in my script. Value is available in this request. Correct? This value only, right?
Okay.
Now copy this parameter name and paste here. But before paste, now I have a curiosity to see what value will be captured in this parameter name before replacing my dynamic value. I have a curiosity to see what value is capturing in, I can say capturing means storing in C underscore user session before replacing my dynamic value. Correct? For that, what we have to do is, we have to enable the log to see what value is storing in this C underscore user session parameter name. Okay? Now, to enable the log, we have to go to the runtime settings. Now double click runtime settings. Now, if you see the name called log and just scroll down in the log, you can see a extended log and parameter substitution. Parameter substitution. Once again, go to the runtime settings. I can say just double click on runtime settings, then click on log, then select extended log and select parameter substitution. Now click on save. This is the save option, which means those settings will be saved. Now I'm going to replay my script to see what value is storing in C underscore session ID. Right? Now click on replay. My script will fail, but in the output window, this is the output window to see that is there any data is captured in my parameter name. Now if you see some value is captured, correct? Now copy this value, go to our data here and check whether the value is changing or it's capturing the same value or different value. Is the same value or different value it capturing?
Different one.
Different means each and every time, if I run 10 times also, 10 times it will generate the new value. Correct? Which
Yes.
means it captures the new value 10 times. Yes, let's see. Let's cross check. Let me once again. Just scroll up in output window and see. Copy this value. Now go to the notepad. Value or different value?
Different one.
Different value. Which means each and every time when I replay my script, did the parameter name storing the new value each and every time?
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
How can I pass my prompt in the script wherever the dynamic value is there? Wherever this dynamic value is there, can I replace with
Yeah.
parameter name of this dynamic value?
Yes.
Yes. Now copy this value. Control C. Now come down and paste here. So now to replace the dynamic value with parameter name, we have to use open close cursive braces and paste this. Okay, so like this you have to replace the parameter name with open closed cursive braces of parameter name. Alright. So can we replay the script now and see whether this request will give success or failure? Now if you see in the login got failed, right? Here it's showing the error message. Now I replaced the parameter name, then see whether it gives a success or still it gives a failure message. Okay. Now just run your script. What happened? My script got passed. How come? Now let's see the screenshot. Whether I got successful login or not. Okay, let's go back to first request. This is my first request. There is no back. Correct. Now let's see the next request login. Is the success? Did the successful login? It's showing
Yeah.
welcome Jojo, right?
Yeah.
Yes, which means it successfully logged in. And if you go back, I can say go forward, you can able to see all the pages. Is the ticket booked?
Yes.
Yes. Now what I'm going to do is, now I'm going to log into the application manually and we'll see that whether my ticket is booked or not. Now go to Jojo and Bean. Now click on login. Now to check the flights, so I can say book tickets, flights. So go to itinerary. Now I can able to see some of the list of total 5 flights booked. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel all. Now there is no flights, correct? Has been erased. Now what I'm going to do is now I'm going to replay my script and see whether it the flight is booked or not. We'll check that. Okay. Now replay the script. Now my script is successful. Now just go to the application, just click on itinerary and see whether the flight is booked or not. Is my flight is booked?
Yes. Yes.
Is it booked, right?
Yes.
Yes. So now you can see the value of, I can say not value, you can see the importance of correlation. Correct?
Yeah.
Alright. So like this, now you can do the correlation of remaining values. Now as of now, what value we have correlated? We correlated, so session, user session. Next, which value we have to correlate?
Right.
Flight number, that one only, right? Correct? This one only, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Can you do this value correlation? Come back. Try this
Okay.
and let me know. If you are success, that's well and good. If you are unable to do correlation, I can do the correlation once again in our tomorrow class. Okay, everyone?
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, now let's go back to our class notes and see the steps. And this one. Now, what is the steps? What is the first step?
Identify the dynamic value in the script and copy it to view. Oh.
Is the same steps we followed?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So let me share these steps in the chat. Everyone just copy and practice from your side.
Previous classes notes also please share me, sir.
Yeah, I will do that. So this is very important steps. So that is the reason I'm just giving these steps. Okay. So just you can everyone copy those steps and start practice to do the correlation of dynamic value. Okay. So I can give the entire class notes. I can say as of now. So let me till here. Let me copy this entire data. Okay. Okay. Now save it. So let me share this class notes with you guys. Okay.
And 26th class is not shared. That also please share.
One sec. Let me check. Which date?
26th class.
26th class. Yes, it's there.
That one not shared for that link. That's it.
26th class. Okay, let me check.
Is Saturday class.
Okay, let me cross check.
వాల్యూస్ పాస్ అయ్యి డైనమిక్ వాల్యూస్ వస్తాయి కాబట్టి అది స్క్రిప్ట్ రన్ చేసేటప్పుడు మనకి H2 కాదు స్క్రిప్ట్ రన్ చేస్తే వర్క్ అవుతుంది ప్లస్